I thought my life with Bennett was perfect. We had a beautiful home, 2 wonderful kids, and a marriage that seemed solid. But behind the happy family photos and a decade of shared memories, a storm was brewing, one I never saw coming. It all started on the day of my big career breakthrough. I'd been working tirelessly for months, pouring everything I had into a project that could finally get me the promotion I deserved. My presentation was scheduled for that afternoon, and the stakes were incredibly high. That morning, Bennett was being unusually sweet. He made my favorite breakfast, told me how proud he was, and kissed me goodbye with a promise to celebrate that night. I felt on top of the world, confident and ready to conquer. I walked into that boardroom, head held high, and delivered the presentation of my life. The applause was deafening, my boss was beaming, and I knew I had nailed it. I couldn't wait to share the good news with Bennett. As I was packing up my things, my phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. My heart hammered against my ribs as I opened it. It was a photo. A photo of Bennett, kissing another woman. They were at a cafe, looking intimate and comfortable, as if they'd done this a million times. The date stamp on the photo was from just 2 hours ago. While I was preparing for the biggest moment of my career, my husband was with someone else. The world tilted on its axis. The joy of my success evaporated, replaced by a cold, numbing shock. I stumbled out of the office, my mind racing. Who was she? How long had this been going on? The questions swirled, each one a fresh stab of pain. I drove home on autopilot, the triumphant speech I'd prepared for Bennett now a bitter monologue in my head. When I walked through the door, he was there, a bottle of champagne on ice, a huge smile on his face. "So, how did it go, superstar?" he asked, walking towards me for a hug. I flinched, stepping back as if he were a stranger. The smile faded from his face, replaced by confusion. "Leora, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." I couldn't speak. I just held up my phone, the picture glowing on the screen like a toxic beacon. The color drained from his face. The silence in the room was heavier than anything I had ever experienced. "Leora, I can explain," he stammered, his voice weak. But what was there to explain? The evidence was right there. All the late nights he said were for work, the business trips, on weekends, the sudden password change on his phone, it all clicked into place. I felt like such a fool. I had trusted him completely, built my entire world around him, and he had shattered it without a second thought. My greatest professional triumph had become the backdrop for my deepest personal betrayal. Explain what, Bennett? I finally found my voice, and it was laced with ice. Explain how you could do this to me? To our family? Today of all days? He just stood there, speechless, the portrait of a guilty man. The champagne he bought to celebrate my success now seemed like a cruel joke. There would be no celebration tonight. In fact, I wasn't sure if we would ever celebrate anything together again. The perfect life I thought I had was a lie. The days that followed were a blur of tears and sleepless nights. Bennett's excuses were pathetic and hollow. He called it a mistake, a moment of weakness, but the truth was clear. It wasn't a moment. It was a choice he had made over and over again. He had been living a double life. The woman's name was Chloe, a colleague from his office. He admitted it had been going on for nearly a year, a whole year of lies. I had to make a choice. Could I forgive him? Could I ever trust him again? I looked at our children, their innocent faces oblivious to the earthquake that had just torn our family apart. For their sake, a part of me wanted to try. But another, stronger part knew I deserved better. I deserved honesty, respect, and a partner who cherished me, not one who betrayed me on the day I needed his support the most. Facing him was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I told him I needed space, that I needed him to leave. The look on his face was one of shock, as if he genuinely believed his apology would fix everything. But the trust was gone, shattered into a million pieces. My career victory felt bittersweet now, a reminder of the day my world fell apart. But it was also a symbol of my own strength. I had achieved that success on my own, And I knew I had the strength to rebuild my life on my own too. The road ahead would be difficult, but for the first time in a long time I was choosing myself. My story wasn't over. A new, more honest chapter was just beginning. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you are not alone and you have the strength to get through it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories.